everybody, N5SIM on the ham radio and World Radio 725 out in Skipland. Back on the bench with another, I don't know where everybody's getting these things. They're coming back. They're making a bounce back. Ar3500 100 watt unit. This one's got some keypad issues. Again, we showed you that in another one where we've got bad keypad buttons. These buttons in here get sticky and they get bad and they don't close contact very well. So we'll desolder all that and put brand new buttons in. And then this one has an echo board put in it, and you can see what they did here, which I don't really like. Kind of a bad practice. They took a shielded cable and hooked up just a plain piece of wire, and they did it about 3-4 times on here. So it's not really good engineering practice. Yes, it works. And yeah, there's a lot of shielding of the RF in here, but it's just better engineering practice to use shielded cables anytime you're working with audio like that. So get that all pulled apart and make it the way it really should be. Get these keypads replaced, and then we'll tune it up. So I'll be back to show you what it looks like all done up as we go along here. And we're back. So you notice here on the board where I did all of the desoldering here, it's going to be a lot cleaner than where the original board was. And after, I should have taken a picture of this after I just got done desoldering. But, you know, it's pretty clean. You know, when you use a desoldering tool, you know, like that, it's pretty clean and it's pretty fast. But it's always good to go through, get your acid brush and clean up all the holes, circuit board on the back where you're going to solder, even the front, because there's grime and dirt. You can kind of see it up there. Yeah, right there you can see all, it's kind of a plasticky looking. That's just grime, dirt, flux, stuff that sticks to it. Even this Kim wipe right here has got a lot of, you know, look at that, it's got a lot of junk on it. So, you know, you always want to wash the board and then suck it up with like Chem wipe or something like that to really to get it to be a real nice surface to put new buttons on. Somebody asked me one time when I was doing this, why do I replace all the buttons? Surely they're not all bad. And I said, well, it's just the fact that those buttons don't cost a whole lot. You know, it's the labor to tear this whole head down, get to that, and desolder and resolder, make sure they're all perfectly level and they fit within the display. And you don't want something coming back. You'd be really mad if I did if I replaced 1 or 2 switches or 2 or 3 switches out of the, I think there's 17 in here, and then, you know, next month one got bad. Well, now you're going to have to ship it back. I'm going to feel bad. It's just not going to work right. So I replace all of that. Same thing with these parts up here, right here, these boards and switches in here. If you notice on some rigs, and I wish I had one here to show you, but I've actually gotten them in where people have taken those boards out and they've replaced them with, you know, bigger, you know, variable resistors pots and just hardwired to them. And though, yes, that works, it's better just to use the original switch that's supposed to be on there. Those original switches aren't available a lot of times. So if you're like me, you've got a big stock of them from back in the day, or you can find equivalents that fit on the board, and that's perfectly acceptable as long as they're the right values. But when I get done with this, you know, it's going to be as original as possible, except for he wanted a 4-pin mic plug up front with a Cobra style wiring, so that's been done on there. There's a repeater going off in the background, and so yeah, it's ready for all the switches to be put back on, and I'll come back as soon as they're on and show you what that looks like. Looking at some buttons there. Look at that. Now, one thing I'll let you know is if you do this yourself, if you're going to roll your own on this, it's fine to do it, but you want to make sure that all of these buttons here are all nice and straight across and super, I mean, just flat as can be on the board. Because if you don't, yeah, I learned this by experience. If you don't have them, I mean, just perfectly flat, and I even do, you know, you know, close one eye and look down the rows and make sure everything's sitting flat on both sides and up and down, you know, that kind of way, like that. But anyway, I do that because if you don't, when you go to put it all back together, and you put this faceplate back on, whether it's an older one or a newer one, and yes, you can buy these faceplates. They look beautiful. They've got a sticky back, and you can put those on there. Anyway, but what'll happen is they won't go through. They'll go through those holes, right, like that. So the switch will go through the hole, but the button cap, if that switch is sitting a little sideways or something, the button cap will stick in that opening. And when you press it, it won't pop back out. So that's a real frustrating thing, because then you got to go tear the whole head apart again. And, you know, so it's better just to do your due diligence and look for it and flow the solder. Get them nice and flat, and you'll be fine. Okay, I'm not going to bore you anymore with any more soldering and switch replacement and whatnot. I will bore you with that, though. There's the soldering that's done. There's a little bit of flux that will clean off, not much, but that's the soldering that I do. It's pretty nice, I think. I try to do good quality work. When I come back, I will do a part 2 video on this all put back together, and then we'll put it on the service monitor and the scope and take a look at how it sounds. But feel free to contact me if you have any questions or you want to send one of these in, and we'll try to get it done for you. Have a great day. See you on part 2.